Hello. Um, hey, thanks for being here today. This is Carla. I'm Carla Wiesing. I'm the owner of Kingfisher Yoga. Um, and a little music in my life. Tonight's class is basics of yoga. And some of the basics of yoga, things that crazy questions that people kind of ask is, I'm not flexible. I can't do yoga. You don't need to be flexible to do yoga, and you're probably doing yoga poses without even thinking about it. The most basic yoga pose that everybody does is Shavasana. It's fancy names, and it's also called corpse pose. It's just laying on your back and paying attention to your breath. So yoga just isn't about being flexible. In fact, I'm not a very flexible person at all. Yoga does draw a lot of people that are flexible, just because that's the way gymnasts and dancers kind of find comfort in this type of a practice. But it's not something that is a prerequisite. It's something that maybe you'll get more flexible with time. So tonight's yoga, we're going to build off of what we did last week. So last week we talked a little bit about breathing and about Tadasana and how to stand with integrity. And we'll build on that, and we'll review that as well. And we're going to work on trying to just find a little bit of a flow. Like, we're just going to find a very basic, simple flow that we can do. And if you have been doing your homework was to just do the Tadasana, the forward fold, the halfway lift, forward fold, and then rising all the way up was your homework. So if you got to that, that's fantastic. Love that. If not, we'll start again. So right now, it would be wonderful if you could just find a comfortable seat. Just find something simple to sit down on your bottom. So if you want to sit down on a cushion or a couch, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. And also for tonight's class, we're going to need, I should have told you that before. If you have a tie or a belt or a rope, in fact, I'm going to grab a belt real quick. This class tonight is coming from my room. So this is my personal hangout space. Over here, you can't see it. Maybe I'll show you at the very end, is my meditation spot. So I have my little meditation bench that is a little uncomfortable, but it's good because sometimes I fall asleep when I meditate. And then just pictures and some of my vision boards and things that are important to me. So sit down. Feel your sits bones nestle down to the earth. And then let's focus on your breath. In Sanskrit, it's called pranayama, the breath of life. And you'll find it comes back over and over and over again in yoga. We're always talking about the breath, the pranayama. It's because it's the most important thing of our life completely. The first thing that happens when a baby is born is that you wait for the baby to cry. And at the end of someone's life, when you're sitting next to them, watching the life to leave them, the last thing they do is take a breath. So life is breath. It's the completeness of each and every moment. That's why we keep coming back to the breath and making it important, bringing attention to it. So sitting on your bottom, or however you want to sit, I'm just going to read from my favorite book. It's about not needing approval. There are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground, says Rumi. I have a young friend who speaks of the time when he reads stories with his daughter at a time that needs no confirmation. There is wisdom in this phrase, a time that needs no confirmation. Over and over again, we need to take a few moments, go outside, feel our feet connected to the earth, look around and notice the trees, all the plants blooming around us, spring, awakening. And just like the trees growing, we don't need permission to grow and be and do the things that we love. The trees don't need permission to grow. It's all natural. So what is it that you love to do? Reading books with your kids, taking a bath, going outside and walking beneath the trees, laying on the grass with the sun hitting your face. So give yourself permission. Do those things that make you joyful and make you happy, that come from within you. The simple pleasures. Now let's focus on that breath again. Imagine it's like a circle, like an unending eternity symbol, that woven circle. Imagine your breath as you draw each breath in. Feel the end of your breath. And then slowly as you exhale, follow the breath and notice the moment the exhale stops and right away the inhale begins. So with your eyes closed, can you focus on your breath? Can you imagine that circle of the breath? The ending of the inhale, beginning of the exhale. I don't know if you can hear the music, but if you can, it's Sam Ness. From his most recent album. I will share it in notes if you want to go out and find it. So slowly open your eyes. We're going to start in a child's pose tonight. So we're going to come back to the breath. First thing you're going to do is you're going to draw your big toes together. Kissing the big toes. Your knees are nice and wide. And if this is uncomfortable for you, you can go ahead and put a blanket or a pillow between your thighs and your knees. If you don't like this at all, don't do it at all. And from here, you're just going to slowly roll yourself out forward. I'll come in and out of poses, but just follow my words instead of my motions. So I can speak clearly to you. So you're in this child's pose. Maybe your forehead comes to the floor. Maybe your arms reach out long in front of you. Relax the shoulders. Let your arms get long. Maybe you wiggle and soften the hips a little bit. Know that throughout any of this practice, if something doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. There's no gain from pain in yoga. We honor ourselves. We honor the way we feel. Sometimes you might think, I can push myself just a little bit, and you listen to that voice and you go ahead. But when the voice says, we're getting close to too far, you stop. Respect yourself. From this child's pose, you're going to roll onto your right hip, sitting on your right hip, and have your legs next to you. So the right leg, my right leg, I'm on my right hip, my right leg is on the bottom. My left shin or ankle is right inside the, nesting inside the bottom of my right foot. From here, I'm just going to put my left hand on the floor. I'm going to reach my right arm up towards the sky. So maybe you feel this in your hips. Maybe you feel it in your side body. I'm feeling it at this moment, thinking about that. Maybe I wasn't so good to myself today with my posture. Coming back to center, left hand on the right knee, and just find a gentle twist. And then we're just going to rotate the opposite direction. Being gentle with yourself. We're just going to roll onto the other side. So come onto your left hip, legs side by side. So my left foot, the arch of my foot makes a nice little cradle for my left ankle. Again, I'm going to bring my hand off to the right hand side. I'm going to reach my left arm up and over. And then come to center, right hand on my left knee, find that twist. And then rotate the other direction. Beautiful. And then coming back towards center, we're just going to come into our cows and our cats. So wrists underneath shoulders, hips above knees. Kind of move, sway left and right, and see what feels good to you. Finding a good posture here. From here, let's find our cows and cats. Remember, our cow is that inhale, and you really lifting up the chin, and you draw the chest forward, drop the belly. A nice long stretch in your spine, and then the exhale, we come into that Halloween cat spine. So you're rolling up the spine really like up and over. Let your head get heavy, and then follow your breath. And then pressing back on your heels. I'm just going to come up to a standing position like we did last week with our Tadasana. This time, if you've got your belt or strap, you're going to take it and you're going to put it right across your thighs. We talked last week about doing this with a pillow between your thighs. So my feet are about hip width distance apart. This feels good for me. There we go. Okay. So I'm actually adding some resistance to the outside of my thighs. So I'm pressing against it. Last week we heard if you had the pillow, you're kind of drawing in. So if you press into your feet, feel yourself engaging your legs. So that's all we're trying to do is engage the legs. From here we're going to come into that first flow that we worked on last week. First we're going to come to the Tadasana. The Tadasana is where you're standing on your feet and you kind of roll on the inside and the outside. And let's roll on the outside of our feet. Oh, stretch the ankles. That feels nice. And then rolling on the inside. And then flattening the feet, rocking side to side. Tadasana, standing nice and tall. So you're pressing into your heels. The balls of your feet and your toes are nice and soft, like they're just fluttering and landing on the floor. And I'm thinking about bringing your knees in line with your ankles. Maybe shrugging your kneecaps up and you kind of maybe feel like your thighs rising up. And then bringing your hips in line. And then shoulders over hips. And then again, it's thinking about maybe that you perhaps have a string from the top of your head, rising up nice and tall. This is our Tadasana. Let's soften our neck just a little bit. I just want you to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Again, keep the shoulders relaxed, drawing down. Slowly we're going to come to center, pausing here, and then left ear to left shoulder. And relaxing your shoulders down. And then coming to center. From here, you're going to interlace your fingers. You're going to put them at the back of your head. Just softly at the back of your head. And I want you to press the back of your head into your hands. Standing up nice and tall. That integrity, right? The nice tall spine. Lifting the chest. Just press the back of your head into your hands. Maybe you'll feel a little bit of tightening in your neck. Now we're just going to do the same thing. Just put your hands on your forehead. And you're just going to press your forehead into your hands. And then release. And pause here for a moment. You might be a little dizzy because we're really like adding some extra tension, softening up, letting some of the lactic acid go from our necks. And again, let's drop our right ear to our right shoulder. Center, left ear, left shoulder. And then bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling, rolling left to right. And then again, rolling right to left. Maybe you're hearing some snapple and popping going on there. One more time, right to left. And then drop your chin down towards the floor. From here, we're going to come through a few spinal rolls to soften our neck. So we're in that Tadasana pose. I'm just going to have you tuck your chin. Again, keeping the tension on your belt or your strap. Tuck your chin, and we're just going to slowly fold forward. And as you're folding forward, I want you to think about taking each vertebrae and unhinging from the next. So if anybody's got a kid and they've got one of those toys that does that, they know what I'm talking about. Let your arms hang down, and if you realize that they start holding a little bit of tension, just let them hang down. Beautiful. Keep letting it go. Let the whole weight of your head draw you down towards the floor. Feel the spine loosening up. And then I want you to think about starting at the tailbone, stacking each vertebrae one on top of another. Shake out your arms. Don't be holding any tension. Nice and slow. Come all the way up to standing. Beautiful. And once you arrive, you're just going to turn your gaze towards the outside of your right toe. Again, relaxing the arms, unhinging from the top. So starting at the neck, one vertebrae at a time. And once in a while, shake out those arms. If you come to a spot that feels uncomfortable, for me it's right here because I've been removing some wood flooring. Just relax the arms, find that spot, breathe into it. And then continue all the way down towards the floor, bending the knees nice and softly. And then from here we're going to rise back up, stacking one vertebrae at a time. The last thing to straighten will be our knees and our chin. Shaking your arms, letting the tension out. And then when you arrive at the top, just take a breath. Check your stance. Turn your gaze towards the outside of your left toe, and again, we're just gonna roll down. So you're gonna opening up that right side body again, softening the knees, shake out the arms every once in a while. And slowly we're gonna rise back up. Again, relax the arms every once in a while. You don't realize how much they start to hold tension. And then we're back at Tadasana. Just taking a moment. From here, we're going to reach our arms up over our heads, reach up towards the sky. Oh. And we're going to nice exhale, slow forward fold. That same thing, softening your knees, coming all the way to the floor. And we're going to inhale to a halfway lift. Remember that halfway lift is as if you're pressing your spine up towards the ceiling, so flat back. Drawing your sternum forward. Draw the belly button in to engage the organs. Engage the abdomen. Hands can come as close to the floor as you can get them without rolling your back. So I want to keep the back flat and see if you can crease from those hips. Ultimately, they would be right next to your feet, but I don't know about you, but I don't have that flexibility where we came from before. So I might come to my shins, maybe you just come to your knees or tops of your thighs. So wherever you are, that's where you are. Nice flat back, gaze looking straight down towards the floor. Breathing in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, it's root to rise, focusing on keeping that belt in place. Exhale, hands to heart center. I always take a pause here, I do. Relax my arms. So this is your homework from last week. We're going to inhale, root to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising again. Exhale, hands to heart center. Relax the arms. Reset, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, root to rise all the way up towards the sky, reaching the arms up. See, I relaxed my legs. That's okay, because we're going to get rid of the belt right now, so set that aside. We're done with that. And we're going to add on to that. So, coming to the top of your mat, find your Tadasana. What does your Tadasana look like? How does it feel? How does it make you feel strong? You know, you've seen those things where you're like, almost like your Wonder Woman pose. This is your Wonder Woman pose, except for your arms are by your sides and your shoulders blades are drawing together on your spine. Your shoulder blades are drawing back. You're nice and strong. This is your like Wonder Yogi pose. We'll go with that. So relax the arms by the side and just find a moment to breathe. Don't lock your knees. There's a little softness in the knees. We're going to inhale, root to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Now once we get down on the floor, you're going to plant your hands. You're going to step your left foot back, drop the knee to the floor, flatten the foot long behind you. And from here, you're going to draw your hips forward, getting a nice little stretch across the front of your left thigh, your right hip. And let's lifting our chest, bringing your gaze up. Plant your hands, curl your back toes, step your right foot back. From here, we're going to come into that 8-point chaturanga we talked about last week. So drop your knees towards the floor. Turn the inside of your elbows, inside of your elbow forward, so we can keep our arms nice and close to our body. So from here, I'm going to come knees, chest, chin. Flattening my feet under the earth, I press the tops of my feet in, lift up my kneecaps, and peel my heart and my chest forward. Plant your hands, curl your toes, either come through tabletop or push up, and we're going to meet in downward dog. Downward dogs, your shoulders are going to be out, your hands are going to be about as wide as your shoulders. You're going to press into all 10 finger pads. Think of lifting your tailbone up, pressing into the heels, drawing your chest towards your thighs. From here, I'm going to walk my feet to the top of the mat. Inhale to that halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. So rise, fold, lift, fold. Step the right foot back, flatten the foot, knee to the floor. Find that runner's lunge, draw your hips and chest forward. Getting some extra stretch here. Find your breath. Curl the back toes, press your hands into earth, step your left foot back. Find your plank, nice and strong. Let's hold here for a moment. So pressing my heels back, my shoulders are right above my elbows, right above my wrists, nice and strong. My gaze is looking out a little bit in front of my yoga mat. Drop your knees to the floor. Again, keeping the elbows nice and tight to the floor. Flatten your feet, come all the way down. Inhale, lifting up. Press the top of your feet into earth. Exhale, come down. Coming toward downward facing dog. Again, let's walk our feet up to the top of the mat. Again, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, we're going to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just take a moment. How does that feel? Do you feel like you're waking yourself up, you're stretching your body a little bit in different directions? Maybe you're realizing that you've got a lot of bones, a lot of muscles, a lot of joints. It's all happening all at once. You're doing beautiful. I think so. So we're going to add on to that. And today, I think what we're going to do, we're going to try to come into a warrior one. And I don't know how much longer how long this class will go, so I hope you don't have a timeline. But we're going to come into the warrior one. And we're going to come in through it a different way than what we usually do. So we're going to find the basics of it, and I want you to really pay attention to how it feels. In all yoga poses, I like to build from the bottom up. And that being said, all teachers are going to be different, and all teachers have different schools of knowledge. I just want to say straight up that what I know, is probably like a handful of pennies. And what I don't know is all the coins that are in Fort Knox. What I'm saying is that there's so much to know about the whole world, our whole lives. That every day we learn something new and we grow from it. So I'm sharing what I know. I'm doing the best that I can because I love you and I care about you. But always listen to your body. Take care of yourself first. And we'll get through this all together. So from here, we're going to start with a warrior one. So we're going to come to a standing pose, starting. So finding that Tadasana pose. Also, my warrior one, I'm a huge believer of paying attention to how something feels. I used to do warrior one completely different, but it never felt good. And the whole idea for me of the warrior one is it's a gateway to get you to another pose. It's like warrior one is a pose upon itself. It's one of the foundations. But that being the foundation, it's a foundation that you're going to build upon. So from warrior one, you would go into perhaps a half moon or warrior three or airplane pose. But I don't want to hurt myself when I'm getting into a pose. And I'm not flexible and my skeleton works this way. So remember, work with your skeleton. Do what feels right for you. Okay? So this warrior one, you're going to be standing at the top of your mat. Okay? You're going to turn your left foot to a 45-degree angle. Math, I know you've been doing it with your kids all day. And then you're going to step back about 2 or 3 feet. Okay? So your right foot is going forward. And my left foot, I don't know if you can see me there, my left foot is not directly behind my right foot. I do not have heel-to-heel alignment. That does not work for me. So for me, the concept of this pose is I'm going to go into a warrior three. I want my hips to be flat. So that's what I'm working on here, is for my hips to be flat. And for me to turn my hips and be flat and flush like going forward, it's uncomfortable on my calf and it's uncomfortable on my ankle. So I'm going to move my foot out a little bit. It's not horribly uncomfortable, but I'm working harder and I'm feeling better. So my right foot is going forward. I love to have my knee right above my ankle because I feel like I'm building up. That's my strong foundation. And my knee is going the same direction as my second toe. So my left foot is still in that 45-degree angle. So bringing your hands to your hips, turning your hips forward. So I want you to imagine that you need to see where you're going and you've got some bright lights right here, or I just think I'm like being pulled forward like on a cart. And you don't want your cart to go all willy-nilly. So you want your tires and everything to be going straight. So my cart is going facing forward. Again, I might need to move my left ankle out a little bit, my left foot out. So I've got more of like a cross-country ski spacing. And my right knee is right above my ankle. I'm turning my hips forward and paying attention to what's happening. So before we come into our arms, I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Now paying attention to how your right knee feels and maybe your right thigh. Right along your glutes, is everything okay there? If it's a painful thing, step away from it a little bit. Your knee is above your ankle, your knee is going the same direction as your second toe. You're pressing into the outside of your left foot, and it's nice and strong. And I feel like I'm pressing both of my feet equally into the earth. And from here, I'm going to find my integrity of my spine. So I'm drawing those hips forward. Take a nice breath, and I'm going to reach my arms up over my head. So I turn my pinkies towards each other, and I like to pretend I'm holding on to the moon. And I like to reach up and gaze up at the moon. So you're lifting your chest, dropping your shoulder heads away from your ears, reaching your arms up. And then also at the same time, this is a lot of things going on. When you think about finding the integrity of your core, flattening your belly. And maybe you can feel a little crinkling, snapping in your back, opening up your spine. This is my warrior one. And just breathe here. Again, check your knee. Close your eyes and see how it feels from the feet to the knees, to the hips. Engaging the core, lifting your chest, raising your arms up. And then let's bring our hands to our heart, and we're going to step gently and forward, gently and carefully stepping forward, coming back into Dasana. I want you to think if you have any questions at the end. We can chat about any questions that you have. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn our right foot to that 45-degree angle. Okay, I'm going to turn on my side this time. 45-degree angle. I'm going to step my foot back. Okay, bending my left knee above my ankle, going the same direction as my second toe. Okay, hands on hips. This is the key, is turning those hips forward. So if I'm turning my hips wrong, like so, I'm not getting the most out of the pose. And if I was in this pose and I'm going to like a warrior 3, where I need to level my hips, I already know that they're level. So that's what I want to focus on in warrior 1. So hips shining forward. Checking in with my foot. How does that feel? My toes. Feeling the sensation as I'm growing from my ankles to my knees. Engaging those inner thighs. Drawing the hips down. Lifting up the chest. Opening up the sternum. Again, reaching those arms up, holding on to the moon. Beautiful. This is your warrior 1. Again, pressing into both feet equally, feeling the sensation, the energy that's coming up from you being this strong. And this is the strongest part of your body that you're working right now. And you should be feeling something, not pain, but you should be feeling the muscles engaging, the energy soaring through your body. Again, lifting up those arms, rising up, checking those hips, drawing the right hip back, left hip, balancing them out, nice and strong, and then hands to heart, let's step forward. Okay, we're going to add that onto our flow. So, ready, steady. I have a traveling yoga mat, if you're wondering what I've got going on here. It's just like a big yoga blanket, but it's sticky at the bottom. But it's just like a beach towel. And it is from Prana. I don't know if they still make them or not. This one's been around a while. So at the top of your mat, ready? Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Lift. Fold. Rise. Filling up all the way up to the top of your lungs. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to step our left foot back. Drop the knee to the floor. Find that lunge. Curl the toes. Step the right foot back. Coming into push-up. Dropping your knees or coming all the way to the floor. Nice and slow with strong power. Find your cobra. And we're going to meet in downward dog. Whether you go through all fours to downward dog or you go through your push-up. From here, we're going to walk our feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's root to rise. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back. Knee to the floor, flatten the foot. Find that lunge just for a breath. Exhale, curl the toes, step back. Find your plank. Drop the knees to the floor. Slowly lower all the way down. Up dog. Meet in downward dog. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Let's rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to add that warrior 1 in from here. So if we go further on, we're going to work on how to step forward, but not today. Turn the left foot back, step back, find your warrior 1. Big inhale, check the hips, feel your legs. Hands to heart, step forward. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart, turn the right foot out, step back, find your warrior 1. Hands to heart, rise, and forward fold. Nice and strong. From here, we're going to come on to our bottoms. So next week, we're going to work on stepping the foot forward, stepping through. And I'll show you about what it's going to be like, and then we'll go over more details of it. There's a lot going on. I mean, you say step your foot forward, and what you don't realize is that you really have to like press into your arms, lift your shoulders, curl your spine, use your leg with strength. You're really pressing into the hands. So at one point, you have all your weight pretty much in your hands as you step one foot forward to bring it between your hands. So that's something we'll go through next week. That'll be our stepping through and getting ready. See what time we got. So maybe right today, since we're on the floor, we're going to do a little bit of core work. We're going to work on how to do a bridge pose. And we're going to work on our spine, and then we're going to do a little bit of softening. So, and then we'll do some questions at the end. If anybody has questions or just wants to chat, we can do that too. So from here, sitting up nice and tall. Lifting up your chest, again, drawing the shoulders back. The next thing we're going to come to is Navasana. So you bring your hands behind your thighs. You're going to lean back with your back nice and flat like we did in our halfway lift. And you're going to lift your shins. So here we're lifting those shins. You can point the toes and see if you can just release the arms. So you keep your hands here, quite all right. It's quite all right. But the thing you want to focus on is that little space underneath your tailbone. Your sits bones are right there on close to the floor. And maybe you bring your arms here. Beautiful. Hold here. And then bring your feet to the floor. And you're slowly going to come onto your spine. So you're on your backs. Your feet are bent. And they're about as wide as your hips are. So really, how wide are your hip bones? So put your fingertips on your hip bones on top of your thigh. There you go. And feel how wide are those hip bones for real. All right. So there's my hip bones. My feet are about that wide. Bring your feet to where they're comfortable. If you want to bring them to where your heels can touch, you can go right ahead. And the first thing I want you to do is to relax your shoulders and relax your head on the floor. Okay? So now that we've got that relaxed, I want you to think about the length of your spine pressing onto the floor. Can you draw your belly button towards the floor? And the small of your back comes towards the floor. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to press into our heels and you're going to lift your hips. Pretty simple, right? Now let's lower back down. And we're going to try that again. This time I want you to bend your arms with your fingertips going up. Like cowboys, right? Elbows are really close into the body. You're going to press into your heels and we're going to lift those hips up, but I want you to press the back of your arm into the floor. And keep pressing into your heels. I want you to think about lifting up those hips. And as if someone has their fingertips on the tops of your knees, I want you to think about drawing the fronts of the thighs forward and away from you. So you're pressing the backs of the arms, and as you're pressing the backs of the arms, can you feel if you can lift up that space between your shoulder blades off the floor? There you go. Beautiful. Very nice. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, just like we did when we were standing, dropping them down towards the floor. Now let's do that one more time. So where you're pressing into the feet, maybe check your feet, make sure they're still at the hip width distance. If you can do a bridge or a wheel, and you already know what we're doing here, then just go ahead and do your thing. So otherwise you're just going to press the backs of our elbows, backs of our arms into the floor, lifting my hips. I'm pressing into my heels, my toes are nice and soft. I'm thinking of lifting up my hips, and I'm thinking of pressing my arms back into the floor to lift up the space between my shoulder blades. So you want to keep your gaze going straight up. If you like, you can reach down and interlace your fingers underneath your tailbone and straighten your arms. And that helps bringing your shoulder blades underneath you. Maybe you rock a little bit. But just do what's right for you. I like my arms just like little robots. And then slowly we're going to lower all the way down towards the floor. Lovely. Can you draw your knees in for a nice squeeze? Give them a little bit of love. Maybe rock and roll left and right. Now keeping the right knee in squeezed tight, you're going to extend your left leg nice and long. You are. I'm not. So I'm drawing my right knee towards my thigh. I'm going to draw my right knee towards my sternum. So I'm a little bit towards the midline of my body and paying attention to how it feels right here along your thigh, along your hip. Rotating your ankle. And then releasing the knee, bring the foot towards the floor, but keeping my right hand on the top of my knee. I'm going to draw my knee down towards the ground and out and then up towards my armpit. So I've changed the engagement of my hip flexor. And so now I'm going to squeeze it towards my side. So my thigh is coming towards the floor and the armpit and the knee are coming towards each other. Well, the armpit's not going anywhere. It doesn't really make sense. Again, relax. Now from here, can you take your left hand to the top of your right knee? Relax your right arm along your side. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your right leg, your left hand's going to lead, and it's going to extend across your body, and you're going to roll onto your left hip. Keep the left leg extended long. I need a bigger room for this. And turn your gaze over your right shoulder. So you're getting a full body stretch. And then coming back towards center, drawing that right knee in. And then we're going to extend the right leg long. Right leg long, draw the left knee in. Again, we're going to draw it towards the midline, towards the sternum. And rotate the ankle. And then extend your left arm long, out towards the side. Right hand on top of the left knee. Actually, on this time, can we pause for just a moment? I'm going to have you press into your right heel and your shoulders and move your hips about 2 inches just to the left. There you go. So now when we roll onto our right side, our spine stays in a nice straight line. And see if it feels a lot different or better or worse than it did on the opposite side. And then your gaze would be over your left shoulder. This is a great view of my strong nose, my rudder to guide me through life. And then unwind. Draw both legs in for a nice big loving squeeze, rolling on your spine. And then from here, we're going to come to my favorite pose. It's called Shavasana. So just lie down on your back. Lie down on your back, and I want you to close your eyes if you can. If you feel comfortable. So closing your eyes, feeling all the meeting points between your body and the mat beneath you, or the earth or the carpet. Notice where the back of your head and the floor meet. Your shoulder blades on the floor. Your buttocks on the floor. Notice where your calves touch the floor. And your heels and the floor. Relaxing your shoulders, can you draw your palms upward by your sides. And then can you notice all the meeting points between your body and the floor all at once, simultaneously? Can you let your thighs relax? Maybe as you let your thighs relax, you feel your toes draw off to the sides. Can you feel your ears softening? Can you bring a soft smile to your face, just lifting up the corners of your mouth ever so slightly? Can you pay attention to that breath again, that circle of breath? It's much more shallow than it was at the very beginning. Your natural, spontaneous breath. We're not trying to control it, we're just paying attention. Following the breath as it comes in and as it flows out. Following your breath again as it flows in and flows out. Feel a bit of peace and calm, almost like a blanket covering you. Perhaps you feel your shoulders relax. Maybe just a little bit of extra space across your sternum. Feel all the muscles and the flesh in your buttocks just melting down towards the earth. Find that sensation of your bones getting soft. Relax your kneecaps. Bring awareness to your fingertips. Surprisingly, if your fingers are relaxed, they'll curl just a little bit. Bring the tension back to the breath. Focus on that circle of in and out. Knowing you control that breath. It's spontaneous. But the most important major part of who you are, of why you're alive, is one thing you can control. When everything else is out of your hands, you control your breath. You can slow your breathing, slow your heart rate, and find a place of calm and peace. So when you feel like you're losing control, pay attention to your breath. You have complete control. to slow the breath, slow the heartbeat, find calm. You can stay right where you are, flat on your back as long as you like. May you be happy. May you feel peace. May you be loved. Namaste. Thank you for being here. And I'm just going to flip this around. Bear with me. I guess I lied, so I don't know how close I am or if you can see me, but I'm going to show you my little stress-free place. This is just bits and pieces of things that I found and picked up along the way. Rocks, pictures, all that jazz. This actually is a amazing lamp an old friend made for me. And that's my jam. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will be here again tomorrow night. I will be doing a foundations class, so we'll be doing a lot of those things, and we'll just be adding a few more postures to it. So we'll see if you can go on forward with your classes. So from there, thank you very much. I hope you have a lovely evening. Let's check out the sunset over the lake. And peace to you all.